Let's start with yesterday. Senators Corker, Senators Flake. What do you make of all this?
Well, I serve on the Foreign Relations Committee with Chairman Corker and with Senator Flake. I've traveled with both of them. I've legislated with both of them. They are conservative Republicans, but they're exactly the sort of senator who I think the country needs because they're willing to work across the aisle. They're willing to compromise when appropriate, and they believe strongly in the United States having a leading role in the world. So I will greatly miss serving with them, and I hope in the year ahead we'll get a lot done.
You know, a lot of folks in the business community want to know how this is going to impact something like tax reform. You have a bill out about that would impact tax reform in the fossil fuel industry. Tell me about what it would do.
Well, it's got the catchy name of the Master Limited Partnership Parity Act.
Senator.
Bloomberg may be one of the only audiences where I can say MLPs and have folks know what I'm talking about.
Exactly.
There's about $500 billion right now in value in the MLP market. It is a long-established tax planning or financing vehicle. MLPs are taxed like a partnership, but they trade like an equity, and it is relied upon by oil, gas, and pipelines for liquidity and investment purposes. But they're not accessible to renewables or to energy efficiency or to a lot of things that folks want to do in the new economy. So a bipartisan group, Republican and Democrat in the House and Senate. Senator Moran from Kansas, Ted Poe, conservative Republican from Houston.
Very conservative.
Very conservative. Yeah. He's my lead in the House. So you've got red state Republicans from Texas and Kansas who see the value of securing this investment vehicle for oil and gas and pipelines. And then you've got a California congressman and me, coastal, blue, House and Senate, who see the value for renewables.
Senator, level with me, though. I mean, you're not going to vote for the president's tax plan. No Democrat really is going to vote for the president's tax plan as it's written. But is this likely going to get in that version of the bill?
Well, first, there is no tax plan with specifics. It's a 9-page sort of gauzy outline. We'll see as it evolves. If it is written only by Republicans and it does carry forward some of the harsher or more difficult for a Democrat to support aspects of the current plan, it'd be very hard for me to support it. But this bill shows that bipartisan tax reform that actually helps increase investment in America and in energy and in job creation is possible. And I think if the plan ends up being something that is genuinely bipartisan, like this bill, I could support it.
Senator, I want to switch gears now to foreign policy. You, of course, are one of the most prominent senators in Republican or Democrat in terms of Africa and foreign relations in Africa. I know there was a classified briefing earlier this morning on Nigeria, but clearly has direct impacts with the situation in Niger. What can you tell me about the latest on that investigation?
Well, I'm very concerned about ISIS West Africa and about our partner countries in the region. I've followed closely for a number of years our deployments throughout the region, and I think we need a strategy, and I think we need more senators engaged and informed about what's going on in West Africa. There continues to be destabilizing developments. We've got millions of refugees. You've got famine in a number of countries. You've got a flood of weapons from the former Gaddafi regime in Libya. That entire region of the Sahel is destabilized. The United States is in there in a more robust way than it's been in the past. And I think it's important that we continue to strengthen our intelligence collection, our training, and our partnership with regional forces that want to work with us to combat terrorism in West Africa.
One of the criticisms that Senator Corker has raised against the administration has been about the president going against some of his foreign policy advisors, including people like Secretary Tillerson. Senator Corker has been complimentary of Secretary Tillerson. Do you think the president's foreign policy in a situation like Niger is adequate, and are you confident in the team that he has assembled around him to make the best decisions?
Well, not to put too fine a point on it, we don't even have a nominee to be Assistant Secretary for African Affairs, a position that should be filled. We don't have a nominee for the Assistant Secretary for East Asia or for Ambassador to South Korea. There are key positions throughout the State Department where it's not that they're being held up in the Foreign Relations Committee, it's that there aren't even nominees yet. So I am concerned that we don't have robust representation in foreign capitals or in regions where we need that. And I hope that President Trump will rely more on his very seasoned and capable national security and foreign policy team.